there, and welcome back to Scrap with Penny. Today I have something a little different planned, and I hope that you enjoy it. And I'll say right now, if you're not a Disney fan, don't give up on me yet. Some of these ideas might work for any type of vacation or any type of repetitive scrapbooking that you do. So today, 20 years ago today, we would arrive at Walt Disney World for the very first time with two sons and a pocket full of hopes and dreams and wishes. And it's, I'm nostalgic. I'm not going to lie. Maybe you are too. But it's sweet for me to remember that little family of four back then that drove up in this Toyota Sequoia that had so many miles on it. But anyway, what I thought I'd do is walk you through some of my Disney layouts and that was then, this is now kind of perspective. So I've pulled a good little stack of layouts to share, and I did go grab this guy. This was how I scrapped until the middle of 2006. So I came home from our trip and I, was bound and determined to get this going. And there's some, loose photos 20 years later. There's some journaling done, but this album is not finished. And the reason why I share this is not to diminish anyone using any type of company, but for me, when I worked like this, I had a mission to get all of the pictures printed and down, and then not to finish the layout. It was all about getting the pictures printed and taped down. And so I don't know these stories are kind of lost, let's be honest. But I'm not going to dwell on that so very much, except to say that I'm thankful that I found a different way to tell stories, a way that resonates with me, and that's what I want to share. So this very first layout is the one and only time we took the boys to Disneyland. And it was spring 1999, and I'm so thankful that Disneyland stamped that on the picture for us. This was a maybe an 8x10 that I scanned in and shrunk down to print 4x6. And this was a tag off of a shirt that we bought. And I told Stephen, I said, keep that, because we're going to put that on a layout somewhere. So this is kind of the beginning of my Disney storytelling, and these layouts are not in any order of completion. I think you'll see some that are completed before others, so you'll see some stylistic changes, but this is the oldest Disney memory that I have scrapbooked. Maybe I should say it that way. And very very layered look, and for the most part, I love making my titles on the cameos. So this is just a simple, easy layout as far as facts and pictures. And oh my word, don't I look hideous in that outfit? I'm like, girl, what were you thinking? I've got the Lucille Ball look and everything. So this layout was in my era of stamping on layouts and trying that out. And if it works for you, great, but it doesn't always work. But I do have that 12-inch Misty, and so maybe that's how I got this done. And of course I added a little enamel dots. And this story is my sons in 2005, and then my sons in probably 2014. Oh, right up here, 2015. Yay for me for writing it down. And every once in a while, they'll comply and give me some then versus now poses. But I thought it would be fun. This trip was celebrating 10 years of going to Walt Disney World, and we couldn't all get over there for 20 years, but I thought this was a fun little layout. And this is just a very easy style 3x4 journal cards and then 2 4x6 pictures. Of course, you could flip it. You could do 4x6 journal cards up here and 4 3x4 photos down here. So great and easy go-to sketch. She was taking a 6x6 class when she did this. And look, my little black acrylic Mickey face is missing. I need to figure out what to do there. I can see the glue, but this is documenting what they call a princess mimosa. And this little overlay by Simple Stories is cute. This is probably Ellie's studio, and so is this. But just some 2x2 squares. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then, I like to cap them off with some stripes to kind of define the space. But this is Chef Arts at Disney Springs, and we love to brunch there. So I'll just tell you real quick. My papa lived on a farm, and my granny, we called her Granny on the farm because we had Granny in Denton, and then we had Granny on the farm. And she would always do biscuits and gravy and fried eggs and bacon for us for breakfast. And man, anytime I can go somewhere and get that, it's just like a taste of home. And I love Chef Art so much that I did a double for it. And this is more featuring their dinner. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think this was a 6x6 class. It's 6x6 paper for sure, I think. But just, the reason I say it could be 6x6 is because these photos hide what would have been the paper seams. It's probably 12x12 paper, though, based on this scale. But this is a great layout, and you can see that it's the same. It's 3 photos of the same. I've just moved them around and swapped the configuration. So this would work for any vacation or, oh look, the biscuits are in a Mickey. And you can see, I like to do that stacked layer title for a long time. This is Simple Stories apron strings, I think. And who knows where I got these little pieces of cutlery, but they're cute. This layout was done before that one. I can tell just by my style because I went through my punch around the page era. And I like those. But, this is great. Big vertical band and then a nice horizontal band to draw you across. You could extend this if you wanted and get 2 more pictures, or you could tighten those up. You could come all the way to the edge. But this is just documenting what was then called Downtown Disney. It's now been reimagined to Disney Springs. And as a family, we love our souvenirs. And so this is just kind of a nod to the fact that they put the gift shops at the end of the ride for people like us. So this is that Mickey punch, shape punch that is so prevalent out there. Oh, y'all, I look at this and I kind of cringe. Do you ever do that? Do you ever get a layout finished and the longer away you are from when you made it, the more you're like, ugh. And it looks for some reason like I used gray ink. So, note to future self, when you do that, it's going to look like it just faded in the future, not like it was stylistic. So in 2018, me and my 2 daughters-in-law went to Walt Disney World for a girls' weekend, and it was a lot of fun. And Jen had never been before. She'd only been to Animal Kingdom for a half a day. And so my son really kind of struggled that I was going to get to show her the parks before he did, but he let her come with us. So this journaling is just a summary of how we spend our time. And it's a fun and a different way to journal, just to tabulate it all up. I think if I had it to do differently, I would pick a different background paper, and I would not pick a yellow mouse head. But these are just, circles that are offset, which I think is a cute idea. It just feels like a lot right now. I just want to say that old adage, done is better than perfect, is true. Because for me to have done this and written it down is more important than how I feel about the paper choices. So that old saying, done is better than perfect, rings true. And it's okay to finish something and not, love it later. This is another layout for a 6x6 class. When I take those 6x6 classes with Allison Davis, I get into a Disney mode, and I'll often use them on the Disney pages, because once I get the stuff out, it's easier to do. This right here is why I don't like the Nuvo drops, because they flatten. So I've got them in my purge pile, which kind of makes me sad. I wish that they kind of looks like an old school Brad. Okay, so Paper Wizard title, which that last layout was Paper Wizard title also. We have a convention nearby once a year, and so, okay, fun fact. When I went to that convention in 2006, that's what changed how I scrapbooked, because we had lived in Houston, San Antonio, and McAllen, and I had done creative memories in all of those cities. And we came here, and my husband saw a billboard that advertised this convention, and he was like, you should go. Now, he probably wishes now he hadn't told me that. But, yeah, so the convention is what introduced me to magazines and people out there that did this that weren't creative memories. So that's kind of a fun tie-in. So this is using the 6x6 piece in its whole, and then these are little strips, and easy to journal down here. This is us at the 4 parks during the pandemic. I never felt safer during the pandemic than when I was at Disney. I know I'm weird, but that's the truth. Like, you couldn't catch me at Walmart, but sign me up for Hollywood Studios. I don't take the pandemic lightly. I know it was hard on a lot of people. Okay, this is another 6x6 class layout. And if y'all just heard Sophie come over and snort, she's letting me know she finished her breakfast. That's a good baby. Yeah. Okay. This is a little border that I made in the silhouette with different sizes and welded them together, and then I backed it. You can see here that I blended some of the newer Simple Stories colors with the Echo Park colors. This blue is really vibrant, and I'm at 6s and 7s whether or not I like it, but it is in the pictures. So from 2017 to 2024, I was a part-time travel agent, and this was training as agents at Disneyland. And so this is all of the story that I'll tell. There won't be any follow-up pages. It's just a little nod to a training weekend with the team. Now, Steve flew over, and he and I did some park days after, and that would be maybe a different layout, but I haven't done that yet. But I do like the movement on an angle. More flat Nuvo drops. Okay, this is another 6x6 class layout. And I love this stripe because of the variety of the sizes and colors. But I like to do listing, like, so these are my top 10 favorite things at Walt Disney World. And oh, see, this is what I'm saying about the whatever is opposite the drops, the color's going to come off. Yeah, I mentioned that in an earlier video. Looks weird. Okay, sorry. So I just thought about what were my favorite things, and then I went and looked for pictures of them, and then I did this journaling. Sometimes I like to stamp and put the phrases on the photos. I wish I were better at doing it because I think I have the stamps and I think it adds a touch, but also sometimes I'm just trying to get it done. So, and there's our redhead. You know, this ride has changed since I documented this story, and that's kind of, you know, another reason to be faithful in your storytelling, is because things change. I mean, not only do you forget, on this little Mickey I decided to stitch this is probably another 6x6 layout for a class. Look at this little tiny Mickey. Huh. This little polka dot background is a Doodlebug petite print, and I like to use it to offset the stark white. For some reason, if there's some little something there, I can tolerate it, and I buy this like 25 sheets at a time and keep it on hand. It comes in other colors, but I really like the white, and then I like the way rounding the corners softens it. This little banner bunch is fun. These little sprinkles, I must have picked those up at convention also. There's a little hidden Mickey on the inside of that reel. So stitching, title. This layout is probably very much what I would say is a me look. This was a Pinterest lift. I love it. I love it though. It's not my original idea, but I love it. Banners, colorful, silhouette cut. I always want to use pattern paper on my alphas, but it doesn't ever turn out that great, I don't think. But this is a very simple page to highlight a photo, a favorite photo, because while it's simple, I think it packs a punch. You don't even have to have anything down here, and you could move your title up top if you needed. This is just their little logo for DVC, and I did a screenshot and then just took a circle punch to it because there's no kit that has that. This is a double page spread, and it's another 6x6 class layout, but this is a nice standard vacation layout. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 photos, with 4 of those being 4x6. I like this postage stamp border punch a lot. I think it always adds a nice touch to the bottom. So this is a 6x6 piece of paper. There's really not a lot of paper on this for a layout by Penny that loves paper. Little strip here, little strip there, and then a nice area for journaling. Not every Disney layout has to have a Mickey on it. Exhibit A, that Chef Arts didn't have a double page spread, didn't have a Mickey on it either. But this was a class kit from Allison Davis at the crop they host annually called We Create. And I signed up for this, and it came with the cut file. And these are all circle punches that are layered up together. We do like to take a day at the pool in the middle of a long trip. And lately, with the new Fast Pass system, we'll go to the parks in the morning and maybe go back and take a break and then go back in the evening. And if I can get some time at the pool, I'm a happy girl. I don't know what that is. I thought this turned out cute. It's not my MO to be inky and whatever, but I think it's a cute layout. So, speaking of Allison Davis classes, she has a book called Writing to Remember, and it's an investment at $45. It's definitely one you want to get when they run their discounts. But, or you can ask for gift cards for birthdays and holidays. But in the book, she uses this layout, I think, to document her 2 cats, to compare them. And so this is the same layout, just reversed. And it's about 2 topics. It's about the magic bands, and it's about the My Disney Experience app. And these are my words. And I just wanted to kind of document how we've seen it change, because, you used to get the paper tickets for your Fast Pass, and this was our very first set of magic bands that came for a trip. And your room key was like a credit card. They called it a key to the world card. And so I took this idea from her Writing to Remember to complete this story heavy layout. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, there'd be one less because I did a 6x3 here. And these are 3x3s. This would be great to document any kind of trip where you had some memorabilia that you wanted to share a picture of, or lots of little photos. And I think, for me especially, it's important to remember not everything has to be a 4x6. This 3x6 told the story fine. So stitching, this was before I penciled the lines before cutting them. And you can see this is the Tim Holtz ruler, and the stitch is longer than, because now I would poke it tighter together. But I like this. I like how it looks and how it tells the story. This is another just, recanting something about the trips that are universal, and that was the Magical Express. So we drove over on our first trip, and then we drove over in 2018 for spring break because flights are just ridiculous in March. But every other time we've flown, and so we would get the Magical Express. And just, simple across the span of time date journaling. And I did this in 2021 because I'm saying it goes away in 2022. This is a scan of an actual envelope that they would send to you with luggage tags that you would put on your bags. And I scanned it in and then printed it out. Sometimes, to me, keeping the original piece of memorabilia isn't necessary unless it's, for posterity or extremely sentimental or valuable. I would rather have a nice, clean reproduction than something that's going to fade or yellow. But that's my perspective. And this was a 6x6 class as well, because I don't usually do things up on an angle. I thought this turned out really cute. So it's another story-driven layout. It's about the fact that sometimes we'll go to the park, we'll go have an afternoon at the pool, and then we'll clean up and dress up and go out to dinner. And so they had me at red and white polka dots. When Disney rolled out the Lyft Uber competitive strategy, we were keen to try it. Our dinner date at the Yachtsman Steakhouse at the Yacht Club seemed like the perfect chance to ride in style in the minivan. So this is just documenting about the first time that we took a minivan. Now, this little girl still asks Daddy if she can book it when we go, and every once in a while he'll say, "You can get a minivan." But the drivers are so nice, and the cars are so clean, and they've got Disney music playing, and I appreciate every Lyft driver I've ever had. They certainly provide a service for getting around the world very easily. Back, in olden times when we were rookies, well, and also because Lyft and Uber didn't exist, you would have to resort hop. You'd have to go from your resort to a park to that resort, and it was just like an hour at least of trying to get somewhere. So this makes it easy. This is 4 papers, and this is a 6x6 class, and then this is a 12x12 piece of Echo Park. This is that Waltograph font. And then I thought we would end where we started, and this is the very first trip that we took. So I have done some due diligence and made a layout in this fashion that I shared in the travel playlist last week, and it's a standard format for me now. I pick a highlight photo from each day, and it's fun for me to have gone back and created parts of that trip in this kind of format, because the other album is not complete, and I don't know that I'll ever complete it, so I probably need a strategy there. And do you ever get halfway through a vacation album or a project album and just not finish? It's hard. Last year I worked to finish up our 2012 Alaska cruise, and it only lacked about 5 or 6 stories to be told before it would be complete. And so I got that done, and I don't know what I'll do about our 2005 trip, but it's fun for me to look at these photos and remember. And in this situation, I'm using a stamp. I later changed to printing it on my little printer, and I came across this the other day, and this is so funny to me that I kept this, but I'm the scrapbooking, storytelling hoarder. And it's got the booklets in here and the CDs, and I don't even know if they still send these out, but in 2005 a little girl in South Texas got her hands on one, and it says here, little to no advanced planning required, and that was perfect. That helped her succeed. So it is summer here, and I don't know if you have summer plans, but these 4 people will not be going to Disney together anytime soon, I don't think. It's hard for our schedules to all meld, but it certainly makes the chances that you get to be together better. So I hope that these layouts were enjoyable to you. And, here I'm saying document an offshoot of your trip. If you're going primarily to do something else, find a special little moment in between and highlight it. Here, how did you get there? Here, what's the technology that you used while you're there? What memorabilia do you have? Where do you stay when you go? And is it special? Do you stay at the same place? Do you like to go to new places? Do you vacation somewhere regularly? You may not. Here, what's a feature photo from your trip? This would be a great title page layout. More, special shots. This actually documents that we stay at 3 places. And so I didn't point that out earlier, but you can do across the span. if, for instance, like we went to England, Ireland, and Scotland on a cruise, and I could do a highlight photo of each of those. What were your 10 most favorite things about the trip? What are your 10 most favorite things about something you like to do regularly? Who did you go with? Did you learn anything? I don't know what to give you here as an analogy. Maybe just a trip highlights. The trip by the numbers. Let me read this to you. 3 girls, 48 hours, 4 parks, 10 hours sleep, 6 matching t-shirts, 3 sets of ears, 4 minivan rides, 2 character meet and greets, 1 monorail ride, 27 photo pass sessions, 4 park hops, 2 hours at the pool, 4 mobile phone food orders, 1 table service meal, 2 hours at Disney Springs, 33 rides and attractions, 1 magical express. So when we go to Disney, I like to say we go hard, and we broke Jen in well. Do you shop when you travel? Do you have a collection of souvenirs? My husband collects pins, and he has pins displayed upstairs from Disney. Did you have a special meal on a trip? Do you like to eat out? Are you a foodie? We're foodies. And to be quite honest, my youngest son is a chef, and so we're never going to stop being foodies. Did you do a brunch anywhere? If you've been there before, do a then and a now. I really like those. And then, of course, you can start where it all started with your very first picture you took on the trip, and what was that? So thanks for hanging out with me today and indulging my little trip down memory lane with our Disney trips, and happiest celebration on earth still happening daily there. So I appreciate you being here and hanging out, and I hope that you have a great summer. Maybe you've got some fun travel planned, and that even if you can't be where your heart is, maybe you have a picture and you can tell a story about it. So maybe today what I'll do is tell a Disney story, since I'm here at home. Until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back soon with more layouts, videos, and a little stash busted magic. So please come back and crop with me. Until next time, happy scrapping, and remember, this is where paper meets story. Bye-bye.